Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Lincoln Riley, the USC Trojans, closing out this 2024 high school recruiting class on a little bit of a heater, going head-to-head with Ohio State and winning out for a four-star defensive lineman from the state of Texas in Carlon Jones. And a really interesting story for Carlon Jones and one of the prospects that I am a huge fan of in this 2024 class. About 6 months ago in the summer months as a low three-star, Carlon Jones commits to Nebraska. We get on to do a little commitment recap, and we watch the film of Carlon Jones and say, this is a guy that other Power 5 teams need to be in on. He plays his senior season, elevates to a high four-star, and you see Ohio State turn up the heat, USC turn up the heat, and USC wins out for a defensive lineman that has absolutely jaw-dropping production at the high school level. And in an era of college football, especially at the high school recruiting level, where the height of the player and the weight of the player and the track time of the player gets so heavily valued, sometimes I feel like these recruiting services forget to just evaluate what is this guy putting together on the high school football field. And Carlon Jones is that perfect example, right? He's not going to stand out in terms of height and weight, 6'2.5", 285 pounds. The production he's had at the high school level is truly jaw-dropping. Last 2 seasons of his high school career, 59 tackles for a loss, 30.5 sacks through 2 seasons. Absolutely incredible numbers. This is a guy that, for his size, moves incredibly well and has a ton of room to kind of put on some weight, get over to 300 pounds, and kind of be a staple on that inside of that defensive line. This one fires me up for USC, obviously a position where Dan Lynn is going to prioritize getting depth, getting talent, and we've seen that over the last couple of days. Really fired up to get into Carlon Jones, one of my favorite prospects in this 2024 class. Before we do, just want to take a second and give a special, sincere thank you to the USC fans. This has been a program that I've absolutely loved talking about on the high school recruiting trail. And the amount of support you guys show, all the fight-ons in the comment section, it means a lot. I love talking about this program. I really do appreciate all the support you guys have shown. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Throw the fight-ons in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. And let's get into Carlon Jones. And again, this is a guy that I think what's most impressive for USC fans is you go head-to-head with Ohio State, one of the best recruiting programs at that defensive line position, and went out for truly a difference maker on that defensive line. And going into the Big Ten, we've talked about it. You got to get these big bodies, not only just a few big bodies. You need a lot of big bodies. You need a lot of depth on this defensive line. And Carlon Jones at 6'2.5", 285, could certainly see him getting up to 300 plus pounds. But what you can't really teach is the movement skills that Carlon Jones has. And we're going to turn on the film in just a second and kind of see it firsthand. This is a guy that he'll win with power in his hands, and kind of get right into offensive linemen, collapse pockets. But what's most impressive is his get off from the line of scrimmage at his size and at his weight is truly impressive, and kind of goes in line with what USC is kind of targeting in this high school class. They want developmental prospects, and Carlon Jones, again, not a guy that's probably going to play year one, but come 2025 and 2026, probably a large difference maker for this USC program. I'm really excited about this get. I want to turn on the film for just a second and talk about Carlon Jones, what he brings to the table. And again, the first thing you're going to see, one, the versatility. I mean, Carlon Jones, you'll see him line up as an edge rusher because he has the athleticism to play out there. You'll see him line up as that 3-tech and absolutely kind of put in spin cycles on these interior offensive linemen, firing it up. First thing you see, the twitch off the line of scrimmage, using his hands, really, really powerful guy. And being kind of only 6'3", plays with a low pad level and can kind of just get right into offensive linemen. I mean, you see the leverage that he plays with and how powerful. I mean, he has extremely powerful hands, extends them. That's kind of just textbook, right? Disrupting pockets, having the closing speed to go make a play on the quarterback, put on a lot of weight since his junior year. And this is a guy that is using that weight to kind of just bully offensive linemen. There you see, use the hands, have a little bend around the edge and make a play. A defensive lineman that just kind of lives in opponents' backfields. And again, this is kind of the stuff that you're really excited about. Super refined in terms of how he uses his hands. And you rarely see that, right? Defensive linemen who are coming out of the high school ranks normally just dominate with their athleticism. And Carlon Jones certainly has that, right? The power, the athleticism, the explosiveness. but he's a guy that's refined in his pass rush moves. I mean, I'm going to use my hands, get your hands off me, and then I'm going to go close on the quarterback. And he has the athleticism to go make plays behind the line of scrimmage. This isn't a guy that's just going to sit on double teams and kind of eat up space. He is a guy that's going to get inside of the backfield, penetrate that offensive line, and go make plays. I think that's what excites me the most. You try to double team him. He's just going to split the double team. This is a guy that plays with a high motor. And again, that's another thing that you see. Like the USC is kind of putting a lot of stock in getting guys that have the high motor. I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to go close in on the quarterback, play relentless. Really exciting get for USC. And want to talk about one other commitment that I didn't get a chance to break down. And quite frankly, there's just not a lot of film on this guy. Kololo Taaga, coming out of the state of California, commits to USC late last night. And you talk about the trend that you're seeing with USC. We want guys out of high school who are developmental guys with the high upside. And Kololo Taaga, it certainly has that. This is a guy that played his first snap of football in the fall of 2023. He's only been playing the sport of football for 1 year. So is this a guy that at 265 pounds is going to play year one for USC? No, absolutely not. And it probably might take 2 years for a guy like him. But how impressive it is to become a 3-star offensive tackle with 1 year of college football under your belt is amazing. He's a former basketball player. The feet are amazing. For a guy who's 6'7", you take him in, you fill out that frame, get him up to 315 pounds, which at 6'7" is certainly very viable. This is a guy that has a ton of upside at the offensive tackle position. In an era, again, where, people evaluate and want players to come in right away and make impacts as true freshmen, USC is focusing on getting guys with high upside. And we'll get them in, and we'll redshirt them for a year. But come year 2, year 3, year 4, these guys are going to be difference makers for this USC program. And that's a little bit of a different approach than what we've seen from a lot of programs. And I'm a really big fan of what USC is doing on the recruiting trail, closing out the high school class extremely well. And things seem to be picking up with the transfer portal. And I think we're just waiting on some official commitments. We'll hop on and talk about it when they do happen. But USC doing a lot of good things, building this high school class up. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys again. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.